Alright, so I understand it's been a while since I've done or posted any video on the S14, but actually I took the time, within that just to do some things. Of course, what I didn't post is that my car actually just started, falling apart. There was oil seeping into the cylinder head, or seeping into the piston heads. So I went ahead and fixed that, replaced all the gaskets, and fixed that all up. But apart from that, I decided to move some things around, adjust all the gaskets, and repaint the valve cover, as well as apply a rocker cover, which is supposed to just cover the spark plugs. All right, of course, this is what I painted. I did this with the rattle can. Alright, I did all this with the rattle can, and I think it looks nice. It's nice to, tell me if I were to have to kind of find this, it's kind of hard to find since they don't make them anymore. But I did it with a nice sparkle, so it's going to be a nice little sparkle on there. So it's with a white, a frost white, with a hot pink, well, not a hot pink, sorry, like a light pink. And of course I decided to do also the fuel lines. I know these will probably fall apart eventually, so I don't really mind that, but this is what I really initially wanted to look good. So I'm really proud of it. I really like it. So there you go. I also went ahead and added the fan shroud, just because, when I didn't have it, all the, the dirt, the grime would just shoot straight up onto the rocker cover, and, covering it all in mud or whatever, water, anything that comes across it. And of course, apart from that, I also found a place for the fuel pressure regulator, and everything seems to be in order. I just need to go ahead and add in the new O2 sensor that I got for it, just because the other one was, making it act up even worse. And then I need to prime the motor, just because it's been sitting for about a month now. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and lastly, I forgot to mention, I also need to add coolant. So I went ahead and got some Pre-Stone. This stuff I actually really like. It hasn't failed me, it hasn't overheated my car, and I run it on both the Miata and the 240, and it seems to run really well. So what can I do? I like it. Alright, time to add the coolant. Alright, so it took me actually maybe an hour and a half more, just because I had to pull off the intake manifold one more time, just because one of the hoses wasn't on right. So when I tried putting in the coolant, I actually kind of let it drip out. So there's a kind of a big spill, but of course I cleaned it up, made sure it was nice and diluted, and removed as much as I could. So now I'm going to go ahead and start it and refill as much coolant, just to get as many air bubbles as possible out. And let's see how that goes. Alright, but the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and prime it, just because it's been sitting for a while. so it started, but my dumbass didn't freaking connect the intercooler piping. That's why I was running really rich, as you can see. Alright, so now that it's tightened, hopefully it'll run correctly. Alright, so now it's on its initial warm-up, and it's actually running really good now that all the vacuums and all the coolant systems and intercooler piping is all connected. Now I'm going to keep an eye on the coolant, make sure it's getting the right amount of air in there, or right amount of coolant in there, and of course measure that as well. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I just took her out for a spin, and actually it ran amazing. Ran better than when I just had it fully stock. I mean, all I did was replace the gaskets, clean the idle air control valve, and replaced almost all the vacuum lines. And well, actually, I replaced all the vacuum lines and almost all the coolant lines with silicon ones. And look at that. All right, so the next video will hopefully be just of me driving in the newly improved motor, and hopefully my drift days, because I mean, I had one recently, I recorded it, but I haven't posted it. Maybe I'll post it after this, just, you know, a couple runs. I mean, it was my birthday, so I really only brought one set of tires because I wanted to spend more time with my family. So yeah, thank you, and there you go.